I'm Atifa. I'm the publications director for CCA. And yeah, I'm in charge of a podcast, newsletters, and articles.
I'm Amy. I'm sponsorship officer, so I'm the one that's been kind of emailing you guys. Yeah, that's kind of what we do as spons. We just kind of send out the emails and contact our sponsors.
So I'm Amaris. I'm a publications officer, so I just send out weekly emails, I write articles, and yeah.
Hi, my name is Care. I'm a first year representative for CCA, so I'm sort of just shadowing and taking part in this podcast and look forward to, getting to know all of you.
Hi everyone, my name is Shailan. I'm the education manager at MYOB. So excited to work with CCA. This is the first year that we are working with or sponsoring your organisation. So good to be on the podcast.
Hi, I am Kristina. So I'm our emerging talent lead in our Future Makers Academy, which is our graduate program, and work alongside Shailan. So in terms of kind of our graduates and our student bodies, getting to know everyone out there. So happy to be here.
Perfect. I'm going to start with asking the first question now. So as we all know, most of MYOB's services help businesses automate processes. Can you just tell us more about the services MYOB offers and how they help businesses?
I'll kick off. So we've been around for over 30 years as an organisation. I consider ourselves the original startup, one of Australia's first unicorns, and we're around before the internet, and we've evolved from being, I suppose, just accounting software to a business management platform. So essentially, we want to help businesses across Australia and New Zealand, anywhere from 0 to 1,000 employees, with their accounting, tax, payroll, etc. And there's 6 key workflows that we really target that most, if not all, businesses have. Their customers, supply chain, employees, projects, finances, and accounting and tax.
Do you have anything to add to that, Kristina?
No, look, it's absolutely covered it. So yeah, like I said, it's a business management platform. The great thing with MYOB is that we are the only online business management platform that is adaptable for Australia and New Zealand. So for soloists, from soloists, as Shailan mentioned, right through to enterprise businesses.
Thank you for that. So as we all know, the topic for our podcast today is the intersection of business and technology. So diving into that, I'm going to ask the first question related to our topic of the day. So my first question would be, how has technology changed the way businesses operate in the past decade, and what new opportunities has it created in you guys' opinion?
Yeah, I can start with a little bit of something. So I guess we've seen the evolution of software. So, features have matured into products. Collection of products have become, portfolios of capability, and then capabilities have become platforms. So not specifically in the last 10 years, but, certainly over the last 3 decades. And then obviously, that's the natural order of software maturity. We've also seen that platform vendors always come out ahead, and this is especially true in a SaaS world. And so this strengthens our belief in the business management platform opportunity for businesses and certainly for our customers. And I think that platforms really are the digital future.
So being able to, again, work from anywhere on any device and really choose any time as well makes it very important. Probably the biggest shift for businesses and obviously then young people, early talent coming through is social media. How do we utilize that? And how do we embrace that? It's an exciting time. And how do we take advantage of that and then utilize technology to help solve, obviously COVID provided a lot of problems, but technology was able to solve a lot of them.
Yeah, actually, coming on to that, we're talking about technology in businesses and how businesses are adapting technology now. How easy would you say, or how hard would you say, is the adoption of technology in businesses, and how business owners or like employees adapting to that? Considering that you're working with businesses hands-on, how would you say is the implementation of technology in businesses? Do you think that it's easy to get people who don't know how to use technology to adapt to this, or is it hard?
I think there's kind of, different angles that you can come at. So there's certainly rapid advancements in technology that are happening at the moment, which, are continuing to drive innovation across industries. And so that opens up new possibilities for being efficient, for productivity, for improving the customer experience. And I don't know that it's always, possible to keep up with everything. And also the latest isn't always the greatest. But we certainly, from and this is from an MYOB perspective, we're constantly listening to our customers. What is it that they need? And we're creating, our business management platform is there to kind of improve those efficiencies, those productivities, and remove that disconnection for customers, so they can kind of do what they do and focus on what they want to do. And that kind of technology piece we take care of.
And just following on from that, so there's 2 points to this. One is businesses improving their digital capability, and then second is whether it's what we coined good digitization versus bad digitization. So the first part, from our research, 20% of small medium enterprises have no or very low levels of digitization in terms of their business processes. So that's a big problem, but also a big opportunity. And why we exist is to help businesses with their digital capability, and trying to lift that 20% to 25, 30%. The second part I mentioned with regards to that good digitization versus bad digitization is that the majority of processes a business needs, we can take care of.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, they don't need other software, which then also removes the risk of, is that software and that data talking to each other?
So I'd like to ask a question just relating to what you said before about the pandemic and how that's allowed us to kind of work together remotely, and a lot of technological developments that's flowed on from that. So how do you think the pandemic has accelerated the adoption of new technology in business, and what effect has this kind of made on the way that MYOB operates?
So I think the pandemic has created a positive outcome in terms of the way that we work. So we've really had to leverage technology quite quickly that supports that kind of remote collaboration. So virtual meeting, we've now got distributed teams, we've got people working on different time zones, and being able to record, being able to kind of replicate what we would do in office. So post-it note exercises, you Trello board, Miro, being able to whiteboard in person. And it's also highlighting, the tools that we're using. So for example, we use Microsoft Teams. It really allows us to be able to kind of capture the meeting, record it, look at the notes, have a recap, who was speaking, what were the questions asked. And we've even got things where AI is creating the transcript and being able to pull out what are those notes, what are the calls to action that we need to take. So the technology has kind of been curated post-COVID in terms of a world that supports remote working. So I think it's really
externally, it's obviously has helped MYOB as well as we continue our transformation and transition to the platform. Then some of our customers that were using legacy products saw the need to then now make that shift.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, you were talking about how it's easy to connect through technology nowadays, even though you're not going to office and like you're working from home. But coming from a uni student perspective, when I'll go into the job market and like someone who has never worked in the industry, how easy would you say is for someone to adapt to like not meeting their colleagues or like working from home since day one? Like people who
really great
in the industry
question.
for years have it easier, in my opinion. So what would you say about that?
So you're right. Someone like myself or Shailan who have been in industry for a while, understand how the office works and, used to come in 5 days a week. And so that in itself is an adaptation. But in terms of graduates who come into the program and it's their first role, they've never really been exposed to that corporate environment. And we do find that there's a lot of nurturing that we need to do in terms of kind of getting them to come into the office. So where we can, we encourage kind of the proteges in our graduate program to come in together every once a week on a same day, and if not more.
It's difficult for early talent coming through, you guys, students, graduates. But on the flip side, I challenge everyone listening, if it's your dream company and your dream role, but fully remote, is it your dream company and dream role?
There's a lot more opportunity now, I think, as well. So now that you don't, in some instances, in some companies who are fully remote, so that brings you that opportunity to work for companies where you don't need to be in Hong Kong, or you don't need to be in Singapore. So there is that opportunity now.
It was a really good insight into how the industry can look like for us afterwards.
Kind of adding on to our questions about technology, what do you think are some of the more innovative uses of technology in business that you've been seeing recently?
ChatGPT is probably the big one. We know a lot of the answers, but if there's anything that artificial intelligence can help us, then we will take advantage of it. It sounds so simple, obviously, but pre-2019, we didn't do video calls like as normal as we did now. It's so quickly become the norm that it didn't seem as innovative as it actually was. So innovation sometimes can be sort of misleading in the sense that it has to be something really new.
I agree. AI, wild. And then just, with cloud computing, that's massive. That's enabling businesses to store and process large amounts of information. And as an end user, you're trusting and relying on these companies, and they have to be kind of, secure and all the rest of it. So there is a lot, but I probably just can't list them all for you.
Yeah, so let's talk about the future now. So what do you think the future holds for the intersection of tech and business? And how is MYOB making sure to stay ahead of the curve with the services they provide?
For MYOB, this evolution to the platform is safeguarding where we're going. And the challenge for us is how do we then share that with the world? How do we make sure that everyone knows who we are and where we're going as opposed to who we were? And so that is probably the big challenge for us, is that perception, marketing, and our position within the market, as opposed to the product side of things, because we've done a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of research and development into the platform. Very happy with it, proud of it. We believe it will help us achieve our purpose of helping more businesses in Australia and New Zealand start, survive and succeed. So it's then how do we continue on that journey so that we can be as successful as we have been for the next 30 years?
Yeah, I agree. We've had a big campaign, actually, MYO Believe, which has really been targeting the younger audience. So to kind of really be on brand, be relevant for people who have got their own businesses, because there's a massive increase of people who have now decided to start their own business, whether that be a side hustle that's turning into something bigger, or whether they want to kind of be a freelancing contracting, because that's, businesses are going to leverage that talent to work on specific projects and what have you. So, that's going to grow as well. But a couple of other ways I think that MYOB will certainly kind of want to stay ahead of the curve is there's that whole digital skills and learning. So right now, you can't really kind of be stagnant in your learning, because things are changing so rapidly and there's something new all the time. And you really need to be kind of, as technology evolves, as an individual, there's going to be, you need to stay relevant, because you want to grow in your role. You kind of want to make the best product for our customers. And so continuous learning is going to be crucial for an individual who wants to adapt and stay relevant. But then businesses are also going to need to invest in employee training and development to ensure that they've got a workforce that's capable of delivering in this digital space.
Like we were saying, the future will need people to use tech. And technology can be expensive sometimes. So how do you think small businesses with limited resources can take advantage of technology and MYOB's services to remain competitive in their industries?
With the platform that MYOB has now, you only pay for what you use. So we understand that, it's not necessarily one size fits all. So if you don't have any employees, then you won't be paying for the payroll function. And then depending on the number of payroll employees you have, the cost will vary there. If you don't need to send as many invoices because you're a smaller business, then again, you may need the light version as opposed to the pro version. So what we're doing is having a model where, right, we've got all the functionality. What do you need? And pay for what you need. From a business perspective in general, I think there's a lot of services out there that are free. that you can utilize. So if you're looking at marketing and social media, there is that opportunity to pay, but you don't have to.
Yeah, and with MYOB, we ensure that you can manage your business anywhere from your laptop or device. We keep data secure and it's in the cloud, and it's real-time cash flow, invoicing and payment. So we want to mitigate that financial cost for somebody. We want to mitigate, productivity costs. So we don't want people doing multiple data entry or duplicate tasks. So we take that away. And then there's obviously that strategic cost.
Thank you so much for sharing about your experiences, Kristina and Shailan. It's been amazing to hear so far. We just have a few more questions. These ones are a bit more specific to MYOB and its services. So
Sure.
I was just wondering, could you let us know about the different sectors employees can work in, whether it be tech or accounting? Just a brief overview, that would be amazing.
So as an organization, there's 3 verticals that we work with in terms of our external customers: SME, small medium enterprise. So that's probably more mid-level businesses up, and financial services. So all our customers and partners would fit within one of those 3 verticals. In terms of internally, about 1,800 staff across 8 locations in Australia and New Zealand, and there's different functions. So sales and support, employee experience, product, technology, and group services. So everyone would live in one of those functions and serve at least one of those verticals. And there's some that would obviously maybe be cross-vertical because they might be enterprise and financial services, for example. So that's the makeup of the organization. But there's a lot of opportunity to move from product to tech or vice versa. And then also, just because you are within one function doesn't mean you're only going to connect with that function. And as Kristina mentioned, one of the things now that a lot of teams are across offices, across countries, and we encourage that collaboration with all.
Amazing. Okay, well, so there's lots of collaboration I see going on within MYOB. Yeah, so that's great to hear. With regards to services that MYOB provides and sort of the processes that in each individual team, would you say AI or artificial intelligence has impacted it quite a bit recently, or do you have any plans to make AI more useful and more efficient for the services?
Externally, a few years ago, we released a product called MYOB Advisor. Now, this was for our accountants and bookkeepers, partners, not necessarily the end user. The MYOB Advisor will utilize artificial intelligence to analyze the data within an organization's MYOB file to then provide some insights, recommendations. That report would go to the accountant as opposed to the business directly, because that is what that accountant's role is. The business advisory services that a lot of accounting firms now, especially the bigger ones, are offering, we wanted to help that part of their business, that service line that they offer. So it wasn't to replace the accountant or anything like that, but to help them generate and start those conversations. So they would take the report, digest it, tailor it to each customer, and then go to the customer and say, look, this is what the information is telling us. This is where we think you could spend more money or save, again, whatever it may be to help them achieve their goal. Another area would be within automating a lot of stuff and just using artificial intelligence or computer power where we can automate whatever we can. So connecting businesses' bank accounts to their MYOB file so that all that transactions is automatically put into their software, and then you can create different rules so that they're automatically coded to the correct area of their business, or again, whatever needs to be within their file. So that's again, I suppose, how can we just take advantage of it and make life easier for the businesses that we serve? Internally, Kristina, where we may have been using it internally?
So we're definitely kind of trying to align. We've got some open AI kind of brown bag and Q&A sessions happening, which is really great. We actually have a hackathon coming up where we're kind of going to, talk a little bit around AI and see what comes up and see how we can use that. So it's very kind of early days in terms of kind of a formal adoption of how we're going to use AI. We did used to have kind of a little bit of a chat bot internally for our help, how do I submit leave or whatever that might be. And so we've got a little bit of a system there, but we're very early exploring how we're going to formally use it versus kind of, I need to find a recipe, ChatGPT, can you tell me what it is? So it's still a learning progress, but we've got, like I say, brown bag sessions and a hackathon coming up, which would be really interesting to see what comes from that.
Just linking on from when you guys were mentioning the different sectors that your employees can work in, from a uni student perspective, I was just kind of wondering what the recruitment process for MYOB would kind of look like. And also, as you guys are hybrid, remote and in person, does that kind of affect what kind of people that you take in as new recruits?
Yeah, so there's two things here. So we have, from a graduate perspective, we have a graduate program, and that is focused on software developers. So for anyone who's interested in becoming a software developer, we have the graduate program, and that's our Future Makers Academy. And we have an intake in February, and you could be someone that's recently graduated. As mentioned, it could be a career switcher, so someone that's done a boot camp. And we also have a scholarship called Develop Her, which is primarily focused at women who want to get into technology but have got zero technology behind them. So we would look to hire someone who has a deep passion for software development and wants to immerse their career, and we'll pay for a scholarship for that, and they'll join our program. So there's kind of our graduate program, which is software developers. If a graduate is looking for something else within MYOB, we don't just have software developers. We've got a lot more roles than that, and a lot more different areas, as we've mentioned. But we kind of have a 4-stage interview process. So you'd meet someone in the talent team. So depending on where you're located, if possible, face-to-face, maybe a phone call to start with, or a video call to start with. Then there will kind of be a bit of a values and experience. So you'd meet with the hiring manager for that role. And have a bit of a conversation. Again, it could be in person depending on location, or it could be virtual. Then there might be a bit of a testing element. So in some roles, there might be a bit of an assessment required. So it could be something looking at technical capability or potential. It could be a take-home case study. Again, depends on the role. And then there'd be that final opportunity. An interview is as much an opportunity for the company to get to know you as it is for you to get to know the company. So it's really a two-way conversation. And to really be able to feel vulnerable and ask the questions that you want to know about joining the company, not just us being like, are you right for us? So it's really important to kind of go through those steps in the process. We do have a really amazing website, careers.myob.com. And that is our website where you can have a look at everything around getting to know us. What are our benefits? What are our locations? Finding out more about our teams and how we hire. And so I really encourage anybody who's looking at a role, be that a graduate in this instance, is to have a look on there, and you can have a look at different roles. We have entry-level roles, associate roles, or if software developers, then obviously our graduate program is a great entry stream as well.
And in terms of the sort of skills, the people that we look at, I used to say that it's how can you fit into our values, but it's how can you add to them. So very much a values driven business, and what we're looking for, whatever level you're coming at, is how can we do it better? What experience do you have? We talked about collaboration a lot. That's one of our key values. Is there a better way for people to work to achieve whatever the goal is, remotely, or when they are in the office? So what skills, experience do you have, even if you're very early in your career, that you can help us with our values and to achieve our purpose? And I think it's not always that technical capability. So Kristina's mentioned it. We look at career changes, we look at self-taught. If there are some gaps in that technical area, then we can always help fill them. when you join. What's more difficult is to help someone, like have a growth mindset. So whatever experience that you have to date, how can you show that you want to work with MYOB, you want to help us with our purpose, and you can align and add to our values, which is very important. And so even if there is a gap in some of that technical side of things, then if we can see that passion and we can see that attitude, the willingness to keep on learning, then you've got a very good shot, even if there are some gaps elsewhere.
Yeah, thanks for that. So just to end the podcast, what do you like most about working at MYOB?
I think Kristina's going to say working with me.
No, yes, yeah, I do enjoy working with Shailan. So, we've mentioned a couple of times some of the values at MYOB, but for me, it's certainly a lot of the values align with my own values, and so I think for me, and they manifest in different ways. But for me, it is the people that I work with. So I really love that there's that sense of cross-functional collaboration. So it might be that there's a project that we need to work on, and I really love the fact that I can call out to anybody, and people at MYOB are really happy to put their hand up. And so it's really kind of exciting to be able to share insights, to learn from within their own people, but that also extends out to our external partners who we want to align with to deliver on some of the solutions that we're working on. And certainly in the grad space, we've got some great partners that we work with. So for me, it's that ability to kind of collaborate with people, but then from that, it is that passion. So the enthusiasm that comes from people, that dedication, and the genuine love for what we do. So, I get a real kind of like whoop, whoop, when I get to engage with Shailan and my colleague Anna when we're working together. It's really awesome, and you really feel that, and you just think, gosh, I love what we're doing, and you get excited to want to see the projects come to life. So for me, it's that collaboration and passion from people.
I think what differentiates MYOB from some other organizations is the fact that we have a dedicated employee experience team, a dedicated digital experience team. So and our Flexperience, our flexible work program, which, so yes, we want to help businesses across Australia and New Zealand, but to do that, we've got to help our staff. And so there's a lot of initiatives in place to make sure that everything that I need, Kristina needs, is taken care of digitally or from the employee side of things, so that we can then have the impact that we want to have. So a great company to work for. Obviously, we are biased, but check it out for yourself. Kristina's already mentioned the website. But these are the sort of questions that you need to be asking. So when you're at the interview stage, and Kristina has already mentioned this as well, it is a two-way street. Why should you work for MYOB? What are they going to do for you? And that goes back to my point about, it could be the best company in the world, the best job in the world, but if it is fully remote or only, the expectation is even one day a week, is that enough for you guys? If it's not, then it can't be the right company and the right role, and that's okay as well. And so I think asking those questions, finding out from other people, and not just if you're going for a graduate role and you meet with Kristina, then you can message other people within the company to find out, what their perspective is, so that you've got the full picture to make that decision, because it is an important decision. But you're going to have 18 different roles, I think 6-7 different industries. So there's going to be a huge opportunity for you guys to work for some great companies out there. Hopefully MYOB is one of them.
Thank you for that. It seems like MYOB is a great place to work at. With that, we've reached the end of our podcast today. It was really nice having you here, and hopefully you can watch our podcast when it's released on YouTube sometimes next week.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.